This was something that was banned away in that game won by WE, actually. The Vi, just that single target lockdown kind of dissuades a lot of what WE can go for in carries. So something that BLG piloted very well last time around with Yagao. The combos of him and On, the Rel combo, the anti-flash tippers was very deadly. Want to see if Shanks could do the same on the other side.
Shanks, a player which has had some standout games to Team WE the entirety of this year, let's be honest. He's going to be backed up by Nocturne from the jungle, and I have to say, the more that the patches are changing, the more strong Nocturne looks to me, because while all of these aggressive junglers are starting to get hits now, Vi's been nerfed time after time, Wukong as well, it feels like the Nocturne is really going to be a big power pick coming into the next few patches. If Heng can show that he can play it well for Team WE, that's very important for them. You have, however, given over LeBlanc, Vi, Tushan, and Yagao, and that is a terrifying kill combo in the mid jungle.
It is. I do appreciate, though, I mean, last series for both these two teams, I think the Nocturne, something that we haven't seen Heng pick out so far this split, but also just playing into the aggressive nature, right? You're not going to win a laying down battle against Shun. He will take the fight to you, and with this composition, I think it's even more so that way. We do get On's Rel yet again, just a pivotal strength for him and for this roster.
Strong in lane, strong in team fights. On's Rel is one of the better players of that worldwide, it feels like right now. Cube is going to get Jax, and Cube is an incredible Jax. We saw Bin's Jax in game 1. He's one of our other best Jaxes in the LPL. Cube is no slouch, though. In spring, it was a pick which was pretty much banned from him every game, and when it was picked up, it was a decided win for his previous team, Rare Atom. Of course, this is the first split that Rare Atom have played without Cube, and Cube has left Rare Atom for their first time in this split as well. He's reaching playoffs. They won't be. Let's see if he can make any more damage on his last regular season games on this Jax.
Have a strong strength in the side lane. As the Rumble graphic, I love it. But it is something a little bit different, right? I think it's something that W can play around. I do expect Heng's pathing early to be a bit different this time around as well. We do get the Alistar ban, though, towards that Rel counter matchup. But also Kennen by WE. Something else we saw BLG actually ban in second phase last time around.
Makes sense, because if you're a Nocturne and you point and click on someone on a side lane trying to kill them if Annie and Jax heads that, you don't really want there to be a lightning storm heading around that one target. You don't really get to avoid that one. So what you're looking to do is ban away undivable targets. Ken and Cassante, they both head into that one. So Team WE, I think with this combo already, you mentioned it already, strong side lane pressure. BLG, they probably want to ban off stuff which can roam and answer that very well. Alistar and Rakan, they both fit that as well. It feels like both these teams have identified the most strong part of what is remaining in these compositions to be locked in.
I'm wondering, there's so many options available, but something with some strength for Hope is what I want. The Xayah has the peel ability, also the strength, but Hope is such a pretty big part, I feel like, for WE. Especially since his time coming over, right, from JDG, again, the matchup against his old teammate Yagao. But he has been trying to establish himself, and while there's been a lot of rocky moments for WE, he is still sitting at about 30% damage done for his team. He's still sitting there as a main staple carry for them. It's good to see them lean to that strength.
We get
as
Fiora
Ben on the
from
other
Ben?
side. We get the Fiora coming in.
Oh, let's go. He hasn't been as quick to pick it up this year, especially compared to a couple of previous seasons. And actually coming into the summer, first Fiora game of summer, but what were we just saying was important to lock in for that top lane? An undivable carry, someone that can take 1vx fights. Fiora can very much do that. Reminder, folks, Ben got a pentakill in a Worlds Finals on Fiora. Sadly didn't win that one Worlds, but that was a heck of a game. And now suddenly if you have that Jax and that Nocturne flying at you, maybe there's a chance you can outplay it in the ways that only Ben can.
I just have to throw some more praise over to BLG, right? Last series of the split before playoffs, before a long break for you, because you have the Guardian Angel, you'll be all the way in the further rounds. But they're trying new things. Gotta stop this slump. They are sliding down a mountain right now, and they're just trying to grab onto anything they can. We'll see if they can get back into this one as game 2 with the Gyos roar.
Not going to have any level 1 shenanigans this time. No Nautilus last pick value coming out from the level 1. We occasionally see it, but not to be thrown away at this point. Shanks is going to walk into Yagao and find himself a stun.
Oh my
okay,
goodness,
there is
the
other one
CC
shenanigans.
chain. He is still going to have that displacement, though, to get out of that one.
So, that's what you get from Nautilus at level 1. I will bite my tongue a little bit there because it gets a decent amount of damage and the passive away from Yagao. I don't know whether he's going to miss a minion or two from mid lane. He doesn't have a choice to go back to base. He needs to have that extra HP. I just wonder if he's going to be forced to TP to avoid losing a minion in that mid wave. So pay attention to those level 2s and if it's hit very early on to level 2 or whether it takes an extra minion or so. I'm now going to see what happens with our bot lanes. It is going to be a red side bot lane jungle leash again. We saw that from BLG in game 1, and it's going to be the same from Hope and Lwandy for their jungler in game number 2. Ben and Cube, this is a great skill matchup, though. This is one to track.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to keep an eye on it, especially because we get Bin's Fiora here. See how the matchup can go. We got a lot of presence from Bin's Jax in game number 1, picking outside lanes, things like that. We're actually going to get a replay. Come on, man!
The emote as well,
Why
the
are
Yumi
observers
emote.
like this?
Oh, Sean, buddy, player of the game 1. That's not what we expect of a
Did we
player
have
of
to
this
see
caliber.
that? Did we have to see that, though, Nightmare? That's what I'm going to ask you right now.
Unironically, yes, because it means that you're not going to have perfect information on when Nocturne's going to be heading between Raptors and that red buff.
As long as there's a reason, baby, I'll take it. As long as there's a reason.
Let's be honest, you can find a great many reasons to see these observers highlight some of the missteps from their players. They are ruthless LPL observers.
Dude, we last night, we had one of the most
this.
ruthless things. Like, I literally watched the observers put somebody under a bus and then watch the bus roll over them with a directed cam.
The way I'm going to phrase this is, we hold our players to a very high standard. And as we can see that,
there you go. That's what it is.
As Heng went towards their red buff, they were spotted by second ward put down by Yagao. So they still know, and they're going for a dive in bot side now.
This is really big. Double knock up into the crash down, but it's one back as well. The first blood has already gotten to Hope. They get it back as the kill goes to Elk, so that's actually pretty big. Both ADCs on the board, but that extra 100 gold over to Hope.
So first blood goes over to Hope, as you were saying, but lost gold from the minions.
Elk just dies here.
What?
He just dies to the solo polo for my Lwandy.
I mean, that's one way to end off that play. So BLG, now 2 games in a... No, you can't give up another kill in this play. No way.
My Lwandy flashes immediately. He's like, I can't do this. This can't happen.
I was so happy with last game and how it was really tricksy and very intelligent the way that the mid and late game played out. We loaded to second game and we are full Unga Bunga run it down bot lane. It is just like... So once again, it's a bit of a misexecuted dive. How many feathers does Hope stack up here? There's a couple, 1, 2, might be able to get another one out here, but even with the AoE put down, the feather pullback is enough to finish off the first kill and reset aggro onto a second target. That's the big thing there, where Sean and Elk managed to just about get out, but I mean, you just didn't respect the Nautilus damage. He's a big boy, he does damage, man.
He saved Ignite. That's the real king move. Throwing up the Melio. Gotta have some popcorn with your food. Now, it is something to think, though. Lwandy trying to get mid lane. He is on the roam. There's still a pretty heavy CS lead down bot side. Heng is here in beautiful time to capitalize on the rocket jump forward from Elk. The crash down is there to stop Heng in his tracks.
Team WE doing a decent job now of removing some of the teeth from this bot side offensive from BLG. That bot lane dive wasn't great. That play wasn't great as well. Lwandy is here, but Shun has read the play.
He has a lot of response here under tower as well. There's so much possibility for BLG to answer Heng. Heng doesn't have him budge. He does get the ward in, but he realizes too late what has happened as Shun gets the kill. Now TP coming in as well, and that's Yagao joining. Lwandy, he's trying to Spider-Man out of there, but the rope has snapped, and Shun has gotten a double kill.
I mean, welcome to the LPL. For those of you who are tuning in for the very end of the split, for the rest of you which are more familiar with it, this will be no surprise. This is exactly what we expect every so often. BLG are very, very good with early game leads, and now they find themselves at a 1k advantage with a huge amount of gold onto their jungler. Shun reads this play really, really well. I'm surprised that Team WE overforced so much toward bot side though. Nocturne walking up like this. Nocturne is very, very strong in early game fights if you dive into them, and he gets to kind of rack up stuff like lethal tempo, gets a lot of damage. It's not nearly the same as being able to escape from plays, though. He doesn't have ways out at this point in time, especially with Flash being down from an earlier skirmish too. So good capitalization from BLG, but a big overestimation from Team WE.
I'm loving this game too, though, because we ain't stopping the fighting. Although BLG will be a little bit late to the Dragon, this will go over to WE. The fighting ensues. Tibbers goes down. Shanks gets one as well. On top of it all, Yagao is getting in there with that distortion, but can't get the damage back in. He goes, as the Tibbers will be the focus now. That is what BLG come away with, but the pick out onto On is how WE capitalize.
And they do get themselves first Dragon of the game as well. So that's gone down. BLG not able to claim that one. It is all guns blazing in this early game. I am trying to think who this favors the most. A lot of gold on Vi is a little problematic from Team WE because BLG don't have the strongest front line, I suppose. Someone like Fiora is not going to be doing a lot of tank duty, so it's between the Vi and the Rel. And the extra gold and someone like Shun to build up to an early Black Cleaver with the HP components of that. And of course, just safety through dealing so much damage that you want to run away from them will be quite helpful. So that's nice. On the other side, the gold isn't as nucleated. It's split between a couple of roles, and you can see now a big issue starting to evolve in that bot side. That CS advantage is absolutely absurd.
Yeah. It is getting a little bit tragic down there, and I don't think there's much Hope can do in that one because as soon as Tristana gets an advantage in a bot lane 2v2, it just becomes that much more difficult to even do anything. And now as plates are going to start going down too, that's even more gold to Elk, who's going to be pretty close to a first item as well.
Elk is ready to really start popping off at this point. So BLG leads in jungle, leads in bot. It's not like their side laners and their solo laners are going to be weak either. That'll be something which arises a little bit later, though. We have Herald spawning. See if there are any resets coming out for that one. We don't have level 6 hit by Heng's Nocturne just yet. That will be, of course, a game-changing ability. And that will signal kind of like a second stage in this game, because at that point, it's kind of the opposite from game 1, where BLG are the ones which need to be very careful when they're split across the map, because Nocturne can fly in and make a numbers advantage.
I think the story for BLG has been so curious to me, right? We got to see the duality of, I feel like at this point, the brothers' war of BLG and JDG. And it's been really cool to see BLG kind of grow into their own, I guess, in this summer split, because they've lost so many times consecutively. Their only loss so far this split is to JDG as well. And I think to go with a record-breaking performance in a summer split changes all that narrative, right? They can be that lead horse. I know all the players, all early split, were like, yeah, we're just planning on getting second here. JDG are still in the league, so we'll just take second. But here they are, presenting and growing themselves, but also our first team in the league right now.
They've played so well. They are a very different team from Spring. Shun did a great job here of putting down some deep vision into topside red jungle from Team WE. Means that they have some advanced warning on whether that Nocturne will be flying out of Fog of War. Elk is under tower here.
I don't know if they can do this when the cleanse comes through. Elk will flash. That's huge as the turret shots go into Lwandy. He'll go golden. You also have On here too, and Hope, he's getting burned. Featherstorm comes through, flashing out of that crash down. The Blade Caller is so big. But look at Yagao. They get On, but Yagao gets the claim down onto Hope, and Lwandy falls too. Shanks comes over, and the carousel keeps turning. And Heng is here too, and my goodness, they are just diving full on under tower. Here comes Soon. He'll get that blocked from the cease and desist. As the flash comes through at WE, it is a bloody affair, but they die bot lane.
I mean, this feels like a fighting game with like assist fighters, tag-ins at this point. I've never seen so many random
coming out.
I guess we're getting like Project L shown on our screens. I have never seen a play with so many like sequential players flying in from different sides of the map. First is the 2v1 under tower. Great flash, great disengage play from Elk. Stopwatch, of course, extends the play. On coming in, extends the play again. And look at the minimap.
That's a difference.
Everyone is coming down. You're absolutely right. If that stun hits under the tower, it is the difference. But it doesn't hit. It's been a couple of times now where On has missed a couple of these. And Shanks slips through the net. So he gets another kill here. And I'm like,
it's just a carousel. Like, who comes next?
It absolutely is, because blood's in the water and everyone is just trying to fire towards bot side and get what they can out of this. Shun gets Another flash for his troubles as well. Sadly, doesn't pick up any more gold for himself, but Yagao does, and that gets him to a shiv very early on. 2-0 on that LeBlanc. That's going to be a problem. We were talking about some of these leads going to be very important later into the game. Honestly, the only gold which BLG didn't have at that point was on one of these split pushes, which will take up a side lane later. Now you have to deal with LeBlanc primed and ready to go.
Goodness, you got first items, everyone for BLG, at least the three, the trio, Shun, Yagao, and Elk. On the other side, though, I will say having 2 kills for Shanks is pretty big. The decisive setup for them, Shanks is literally going to be the leading man in a lot of those moments.
Even in this top side, Bidden pulling out to slight advantage. The gold lead is only 1,000, so it's not going to be the worst thing ever. As you said, the mid lane matchup is evened up in gold. The thing is, the reason why I focus on the LeBlanc side of that is that it feels it's so much easier to use that gold from Yagao. Because he's just, you see right now, he's pushing in waves in the side lane. He's using that gold well with that shiv. In mid lane, Tristana, Herald push. We talked about that being very important from WE in game 1. Sadly for Elkanon, they're not going to be able to stick around in mid lane and put down a bomb onto that tower to help them with that push. But it's still gold in pocket nonetheless.
Shanks looking to capitalize on those 2 kills. Does a pretty heavy chunk on the Yagao. WE are positioning around this bottom lane, maybe looking to get some vision around this dragon pit, while it is BLG looking at mid lane. Heng gonna block that cease and desist yet again. Shouldn't just trying to bait him out.
Shun trying to smite away the spell shield is what he's trying to do. You can do that midway through your Fire ultimate, but mind game won by Heng under that turret. Not able to get that 1 kill. He's too fast. He's too slippery for the likes of DLG in that 1 play. WE are going to use this opportunity now to take themselves their second dragon of the game. We'll have to keep that on the on a little pinboard as well, because that's a good amount of stats between this these first 2 dragons taken.
BLG are actually playing a little bit indecisive here. I thought they were going to try to capitalize on the mid lane push, but they're just going to wait in this river setup. The dragon does go down. It'll be second for WE. On going over. Shun was ready to follow him up there just in case WE went to commit to the play, but nothing else going to come of it. We get an Ocean Soul on the Rift, though.
Ocean Soul. So who's that going to benefit the most? Cube, probably, on this Jax. If you get him into a point with multiple items, that will be very important for him in extended 1v1s, and then also when he's diving into the back line as well. That'll be something to track. And of course, something like that Nocturne becomes semi-tanky. Never really a full tank, but the Ocean Soul helps him achieve that role a little more. So BLG, they would not like to give that one over for free. They haven't managed to take an early dragon against the run of play this time. However, when it comes to the next few minutes, it feels like now is the moment where BLG can start going into a multi-lane style. You need to see them, though, be very respectful of that paranoia. The next paranoia that comes out, if it gets enough value onto BLG in a split map, can swing the game very much into the advantage for Team WE.
Now we're looking at Cube maybe getting dove in the top side. Ben taking the extra tower shot. Lwandy on the roam does prevent a lot of that. Ben tries to get the riposte, but misses it there. Takes an extra tower shot as well. BLG, a little bit back and forth. We have Heng coming up the lane right now with the paranoia. They could turn this one around.
But you have to dive into a Rel, into Bin with Flash and ult. This would feel like a very poor play for them, especially with Cube at half HP.
Yeah.
Bin, if he's alone, though, that's a bit different. I'm not sure in a 1v3 he's ready for that just now. He's doing a lot of work with these Sunder procs, but that's a lot of work you'd have to do beyond that.
Gigabin, man, the Divine Sunder. You did just get the Loon's Echo completed for Shanks, but it is all the pressure in the lanes. Now the tower plates have gone down. A little bit less priority in getting that goal, but this mid-outer tower for BLG and the bot lane should just go down.
It should do, and Yagao is free to do this because he sees Heng towards that top side on a couple of wards towards their red buff. You can also see that BLG, compare this to last game, where Team W were getting picked off by Kha'Zix when they started to split the map. BLG are much better at kind of buddying up across the map and saying, you're vulnerable here, let's make sure that Shun's nearby. Let's make sure that Yagao is kind of roaming up from his side lane. They're doing well at protecting their pushing lanes right now.
Man, they are just looking to collapse on mid lane. Nice little dredge line there from Lwandy and perfect timing. But the tower finally falls. It's a lot of pressure relief for BLG. If there was defensive structure for W, it makes it a lot more difficult to pull off this style of composition. But now with really nothing for W to rely on when we're looking at these objectives, and especially out of mid lane, it makes it that much harder for them to execute this composition.
BLG, it feels like they've just had a really clean minute or so of macro, getting that top lane, the mid lane out of turret for free, and all of that extending off of this grouped up push onto top lane out of turret flowed down the rest of the map. Now BLG have reset onto bot side. They've got themselves their LeBlanc back into the side lane, who's stopping Cube from pushing that one for free. But WE are looking to respond.
They're always here. Everybody is always where the plays are. We got a 3v3 now. Paranoid pop. There's the TP coming in from Bin. The Magnet Sword buys so much time, and it's just BLG ripping them apart. They already had a 3,000 gold lead. They're looking to make it more. As we're getting flashes out, Timbers comes through. Counter-strike from Cube. He tries to get out, but he gets pulled back. Beautiful play from BLG. And they are just running into the face of WE. Oh, he doesn't get the connection on the vault breaker. He'll have to back away.
Shun.
A little bit of a misplay from Shun, but it doesn't matter.
Now, let's take a guess what everyone's going to focus on from that play. Is it the wonderful
I bet we get an observer replay of that one. I want directed cam. I want everything.
Yeah, is it going to be the wonderful macro that sees BLG into this, or is it the missed flash cube? We've got a continued fight, though. Ben going to hop over the wall.
Oh, Heng's in a really bad position as the riposte connects on the fear. That's so big, and on crash down over the wall. There's no follow-up from WE.
WE have just been read like a book. More than that, been read like the morning newspaper. It feels that simple from BLG. This is not the important bit that Yagao's in the side lane. The important bit is that Herald is up, WE think that BLG will go towards Herald, and they don't. They read them in the cross map, they're a step ahead of them, they call the play, and they end up hugely winning this out. Again, we're running into some of the issues that Nocturne has, where if he is in a losing play, he does not escape easily. He has to commit the flash on the way out, he's on a retreat at this point, doesn't have another paranoia. And after that point, it's very easy for BLG to just run down these members, and are we going to see, are you going to focus on it? Of course.
That pullback from On at the last second there during that leap strike was so big. And we get saved. All right, they're not going to do it. See, they did the ward earlier for Shin. They're like, that's good enough. We already put him under the bus. Now we're looking back onto the map, though, because WE want to stay proactive. Again, they're not a team that can kind of rest on their laurels. And we're right at the Rift Herald here, number 2.
Yeah, Dragons also spawned, and look at the blue wards on the bot side of the map. There's no Baron to respond with right now. WE, they would be trading a lesser objective for this Dragon if it were a trade, it feels like. So BLG, they can't really leave this Dragon to be taken up. Giving over a free soul point would be a little too dicey for them, especially as they are the composition that maybe wants to give up a Dragon or two for good side lane advantages because they're winning so hard in those side lanes right now. And to that point, Yagao picks up a second item. That's going to get even worse from now on out. That Night Harvester is going to be a large amount of damage in pocket for that LeBlanc to chunk through WE.
It really is, and I still am looking now at next moves for WE. Again, proactivity is key, but they also have the Rift Herald for them, so try to get one of these outer towers, try to get one of these bounties down for them would be hugely beneficial, and I think getting either Hope or even Cube, some of that gold would be really big. I know Shanks can be an influence and has been as a core developmental piece for WE over his long longevity on the team, but it's still right now that Hope has been the damage central carry. He's over 30% damage done for his team. They need to get him the gold, and maybe this is a big start. Carving up On here with the feathers, and there we go. The man himself gets his second kill.
Good gold in pocket, and it might allow WE to take this mid lane out of turret. In fact, it will do. Herald chucks down to help that one go through. Big moments from Team WE. Is there a response coming from BLG? There aren't any teleports to throw out from this particular point. WE, the only sad thing for them is that this isn't when Baron has spawned. They would have loved to translate towards that top side of the map. Now BLG are here on the scene of the crime. They might be able to get some kind of slap back, but the response is strong from Team WE.
Yagao can just be a menace here. This is all he has to do is continue pressuring. You've got Ben in the side. That's what makes this duo of the LeBlanc and the Fiora so deadly, because as soon as Ben has an advantage, Yagao can just be the most annoying little fly on you. We'll see if Ben actually gets capitalized in the side lane, but WE don't want to commit because they know BLG can follow immediately after.
Still a big play for WE. It gives them more control around the Baron because they managed to leave through the topside jungle, put a load of wards down along the way. Baron spawning in 20 seconds. They'll be able to reset for this. If another play happens like that, WE might be able to translate that into a Baron and then into a one fight. That's what they're forcing right now.
Oh my god, Odd. He throws up the crying Jinx emote as Dredge line goes wide for my Lwandy.
Lwandy's had a great series. It's just not been quite good enough to get all of these picks in the right place. And between these plays, BLG getting so much value on the
Going
sidelines.
straight in. There's no exit for Cube. He has the Counter-Strike. Grandmasters pop. TP now coming in from Yagao. Cube just trying to make it out alive there. Hope now on the back end, but they have found Heng, and that's a big piece because he didn't have Paranoia, and they won't have the light switch now. BLG will move away. They have Baron potentially to turn around on. A little bit dicey with their composition, but they are so strong right now.
I mean, more than no light switch, no smite. Jungler is down, just as Baron spawned. If WE had found their play a minute later, this would be them on the Baron, but BLG find a better timing, and they're going to force WE into a fight.
They want to try to take the fight, actually, and BLG say, bring it on. Shoot comes over the side there as well. Ben gets one pick out. The Featherstorm was big, but can the Blade Caller be big enough? You do have a lot of damage from Hope, and a little bit late on that Blade Caller. They still get the pick out on Ben.
Holy moly, that's a lot of damage coming in from the Zai. You can see how long he holds those feathers in position, trying to bait in a number of people into their demise at that point. So BLG, they find themselves a good set of plays, but they can't capitalize on the Baron either. So a breath of life for Team WE. Now they get another chance to look for their own play with the Nocturne ultimate back up, with unable to join one of these plays. So WE looking for a big fight. If they can translate that into a Baron, they're back in this.
And always going back to the fact that WE are on this slump, they were wanting to try to find some momentum because they will be right up next early on in the playoffs, while BLG were history makers here potentially with a 15-1 record to finish off. They are one game win away, and WE are not letting them get it so easily. We'll see Cube in the side try to make this outplay happen, but it is a 1v3, and it is a very strong 4-man now for BLG to take him out.
Yep, did not win it that one, folks. Overstay from the top side by Cube. He knows he has to be on top side. He just overstays a little too much. BLG have dropped so many wards on their way towards that too. They knew that there weren't enough reinforcements to win that play coming from WE. They go to Baron. It is this big of objective again. WE, they can't give this up.
Heng is here alive now this time, though. He has the light switch. He is available. They try to go in on, gets a nice little Magna Storm back to Paranoia, gets the kill first, though. The light switch helping a lot, though, as Hope trying to get away from the rest of the engage. Lwandy's getting low, and BLG, Shoot's actually trying to look for Yagao with a poke over the wall of the Static Shiv. Not enough. Now resets for Elk maybe coming through. He gets burned down by Shanks in a beautiful defense from WE.
Close run stuff as BLG can't close down as many kills as they would have liked to. On goes down for the play as well. Of course, this is somewhat of an extended 1-for-1 because Cube dies in the top lane, which allows for that play. But in the fight itself, BLG tanking the Baron and overextending a little bit too much. They win out on that one. So look at that gold lead. That's why we're saying WE, they get a Baron, they're right back into this. These are not one-sided fights like BLG would like them to have. Dragon's now on the table. I don't think BLG will be contested on this. WE would much rather, once again, try and secure something around this Baron.
Yeah, just get this vision down that BLG have been so pivotal about. They have constantly moved their vision from bot side to top side, keeping heavy influence around these objectives because they know where these fights are leading to. 2 Ocean Dragons in a row now for them. WE just trying to find some hope on the map, not just the player.
Well, if they can find hope, of course, incredibly high value for them, because that Zaya is a lot of the team fight damage for Team WE. Pay attention to his positioning in that last fight around Baron. You can see that Hope was almost ran down by Bin. That would have been disaster for the team. They're going to try and get some resets through if they can at all possible. Once BLG start locking... Play. Well, they're walking out there. I think they've guessed the resets fairly well from BLG, and they know the teleports are just a couple of seconds off cooldown, so they can't be an instant response from BLG. And we are back to a couple of these resets, and I would imagine we're back to trying to play this dance around Baron.
I see, you know, we have a student, a studious student. There we go. Yagao, picking up one of your favorites, but also making a trip to the library.
Measures is such an underrated item, man. It's such a cheap legendary item. It allows you to get the extra stats out of your mythic items. So that's just an extra free 5 ability haste on top of everything else. Of course, you need to stay alive, but Yagao's not died this time yet. And it looks like he's going to be very safe. So we'll see how much value you can get out of that one. See if you can start writing some names in the Death Note.
Try to, in that regard. Has those 10 stacks already. We're getting close to those 3 item spikes for pretty much everyone else on BLG as well. A lot of the strong members at least. But Hope is almost on his 3rd as well. We've literally just had a stalemate here on the top side. Both teams staring at each other with long eyes, trying to make sure that nothing is too suspicious. BLG definitely have the better of the team fight here, and he'll actually steal away that red buff.
They also have pushing bot lane right now. Bin is monstrous on the Fiora, but that's a good chunk from Shanks.
But Yagao's just waiting for some more poke over the backside too. Won't end up finding it, and like you said, good capitalization from Shanks.
BLG, I think they're waiting for this bot lane situation to work in their favor. They're pushing into that turret. Love to see what's happening in that 1v1. No ult's committed just yet. If that changes, that could be the go button for BLG.
It could be, but BLG say, let's just pop the go button anyway. Shanks goes golden. He doesn't have Timbers. He doesn't have anything out. The flash is not enough. Yagao will pick him off. As now actually the Featherstorm going to be used. Cube is backing with the potential to TP in. But it is the Baron that can just be forced here by BLG. Okay, they're going to try to find Ben. Oh, they do actually get the paranoia here onto him. He's going to try to kite out, but Lwandy is coming as well. Dredge line in to get closer, and this is a pick out on the Ben. It is that Baron, though, burned down by BLG.
It is utterly not worth for Team WE. You kill the split pusher, that's cool. You get one kill in that side lane, and you get their flash. But losing that Baron, giving it over to 4 members, and Bin is going to get a hull breaker and walk back out onto the map anyway. This is disaster for Team WE. They're now going to be shoved in on every single lane. They're waiting for a miracle Nocturnal. That's what they're waiting for now. Hopefully Hope can get into the play as well. It's very difficult for Desire to follow up on these engages. Team WE, they have a tough task ahead of them.
We got 4th item there for Yagao. We got 3rd for Elk. The damage is going to be pumping. Hull breaker also completed for Ben. And the pressure does not stop, and that's where we got to take the time to praise this BLG roster. Again, I went on a little soapbox earlier, but it has been truly incredible. Yes, they still can't take down JDG. Yes, they likely have a far-off playoff series against their nightmare, but the way they've come together, the camaraderie, the content we've seen out of this team, the way that they have come together, and the smiles on their faces while they down smash every single opponent in the LPL is just truly insanely awesome, and I can't stop praising it enough.
And I go back and watch what we were saying in the first couple of weeks of spring, and before they made their miracle run to the very heady heights of finals of spring LPL and then into MSI as well. We have changed our narrative about this team time after time. They're currently walking into the base with near enough a 9,000 gold lead. Team WE, this Baron is going to be hard for them to outlast because they were already losing chunks on these towers to these split pushes. Now with a Baron buff behind 4 of the members too, that's going to be very difficult. They're just very lucky that it's not the Fiora with a Baron buff. At least they took that one away.
They did, and I think the pressure is just mounting across all waves. I'm wondering if Cube has an answer at all in one of these side lanes, because it feels like just the push is too much, especially with a Baron for another minute and 10 seconds. It's just that, look at that, like, already the side lane tower is down. They are capitalizing on Ben, the paranoia coming through as well. They will catch him out yet again, but what have they lost for it? It's mid lane, as a nice pullback of the feathers from Hope gets one back too. WE respond with a bit of defense in their base. Elk getting a little bit low, trying to find this one. He does get the flash out there in the end.
Yagao?
Oh, they want to go back
Yagao's on the Nexus, folks.
He is. He does have an answer, though, from Cube. As Shun just gets caught out here. Goes with the cease and desist back in. Featherstorm is back available, and a kill goes to Heng.
Yeah, trying to make his own speedy retreat. So WE, they break that Baron push. Can they lead off to anything else? Dragon would be a good prize for them. It would get them up to Soul Point. That's something, at least.
Nothing else going to come of it. Dragon will be there. Soul Point is pretty big, but Yagao and Elk are still a thorn in their side. Cube with the counter strike can't connect there. Does get the rocket jump out of Elk, though. The kiting back. He won't get it. It is going to be end up towards Hope completing the Dragon, and that's Soul Point to WE.
Yeah, we're going to see if he can hamper their retreat a little. Track them all the way back to their base. Shepherd them back there, so no quick resets for them. Make sure that Shiv is going to get as much value as possible, and they still can't kill this LeBlanc. So it's not worst case scenario for WE. They get themselves a Dragon, and they break that Baron push. That's a big win for them. And this is partly because of what they can do in these side lanes. Hullbreaker or no, lead on the Fiora or no, you can still 1v3 them and take that one down for free. They're lucky, though, that the engagement BLG goes so awry in this mid lane. If that also goes wrong, that's game for you, because you've used all your ultimates on top side, and things don't work out there. But Hope stands firm, gets enough damage down, and extends the game a little further for Team WE to, again, try and claw back in this series, however hard that might be.
And now, We're back on. On is just being a little bit aggressive here. Gets the paranoia popped onto him. This is a pretty big catch out here if they can follow it up as well. Here comes Shun over the wall. Not going to use that vault breaker, realizing On's life is forfeit.
WE with another important pick. It's not like there's a Baron on the table this time. No big objectives to come through it. Bin is going to find Shanks here. That's going to be a lot of damage.
They're TPing in as well. Yagao's coming as well. Oh my goodness, this is just a chaotic fight happening.
Everyone's
Shanks getting
coming
caught out by Yagao. Elk is all alone in the middle of the fight. Shun has come to help him. He survives. He rocket jumps over the edge. And now you got the vault breaker over and the fight at the stop sign. Bin finally falls. Yagao's trying to take him out. But my goodness, what a scrappy one. As Elk trying to finish off Heng, he saw him, and the rocket jump in. A triple kill for BLG's Elk. And only Cube left. A complete ace. And BLG, they've done it.
BLG will end Summer 2023 with a 15-1 series record. No one has ever achieved that before.
They said they felt like second fiddle. They said in interviews they didn't expect to get anything but second, but that is not their story. That's not their fate this time. They'll smash through the ceiling of the LPL to mark their legacy on one of the greatest leagues in the world with a 15-1 finish for the first time in this LPL era. Congratulations to our kings of the LPL.
Regular season, what an accolade it has been to watch this team